Мир останется прежним, да, останется прежним, ослепительно снежным и сомнительно нежным. Мир останется лживым, мир останется вечным, может быть постижимым, но все-таки бесконечным. И значит, не будет толку от веры в себя да в Бога. И значит, остались только иллюзия и дорога. I'm often asked, what's my inspiration? So you ask me almost the same question. And my answer is, it is like inhalation and exhalation. So visual art has a magical quality, very magical. So it can transmit a message without words, without idea, when you just feel. And you go to the world of the artist. It doesn't matter what it is, literature, cinema or music. You just automatically get transported into the world of creator. You go to the same level of consciousness that he had while creating his art. I'm interested in attaining a high level of consciousness, where I lost myself, my personal story. There is no emotion, fears and joys, where I exist as a human being with consciousness. And that's what separates humans from the other beings. In this condition, you are connected with everything around you. That's why this is interesting state of being. And throughout the painting, I can reach this point. So for me, this is practice, the most effective practice in my life. So I try to reach this point when I have open channel and I can start to act in a logical way. And I can't understand how I do what I'm doing. When I start with concentration and control, but then I come to the point when I lose the control. And I continue to do what I'm doing without really knowing how I got there. Then I come to a point where I make some incorrects, and it leads to mixed mistakes. But somehow, in the space between mixed mistakes, a kind of harmony gets created. So this dynamic gets created between the mistakes, and through this, the painting starts to become alive. If I paint eyes, these eyes will begin to look at you. And then somehow everything starts to make sense. And you begin to understand everything simultaneously. In this space nothing exists except gratitude and love. Traveling for me, it's like going to a new space, where I see all this different mirror around me. When you come to a new place with a different mentality, you can see yourself in completely new ways. And you realize that you are not what you think you are, or who you think you are. So when you travel all the time, and you have all these different people around you, different eyes. So you start to see yourself through the eyes of different people, and you see yourself in a totally different way. And somehow, through seeing yourself in this way, through different culture, seeing this different reflection, you actually ultimately come to the substance of yourself, that part of you that never change, the essential being. And this, for me, is the most interesting things about travel. Not necessarily what I see in the world, but what I find in myself. So for example, if you travel to Tibet, where people live in completely different conditions, you can't use your old qualities. Those are relatively meaningless in a place like that. So there you just have to stay with that unchangeable part of yourself that is your essence. In traveling, your rate of experience is accelerate many times, and you get everything that you need to get, but much faster. I think that the most influent thing in our life is not even the sun that shines above, but people around. Even when someone is just near, you already start to feel one emotional response, and you already interact with him. His touch interact with yours. Especially when you practice distancing and silence, you can even feel that. You feel any interaction with other people very bright. When you spend a lot of time without people around, and then you see a person far away, you can feel a connection with him. It's one reason why people try to separate themselves, go to the mountains and meditation retreats. It's a great experience of distancing yourself from other thoughts. Almost everything that we think is not our thoughts, it's the thoughts of this around us. It is easily checked in journey. Many things that seems to be impossible for us, we couldn't even imagine this. We couldn't imagine that it's possible to live like that, to see like this, to do some simple action. We had no possibility even to imagine this. Then we moved to other country and we met with things that could not even exist. And then we get used to that. We realize that everybody around is like that. It is normal. And then when we are coming back to our past life, it seems so strange that it was possible to live like that. Then you have a choice. More things you see, more variants you have. On that point, we have the choice. More you see, more experience you have, you are growing your taste. You start to live the way you are really like to. Then you go to the next level, when you are not choosing. You are going to the stream and you are getting the best. It just happened. The things which you couldn't even wish for yourself. You have a possibility to wish and you have wide varieties of choice. And then you have a next level when you stop wish because you are realize you couldn't even wish that magic way how it can happen. And when you have this experience that you see you couldn't even imagine this beautiful way how can happen, you just stop to wish.
Can you tell about your way?
I'm not finished that yet, but I'm on my way. It's important that I found it. The space tell me that I'm on my way and people around. And the main thing that inner feeling agree with it. Every moment I feel that I have found it. You will realize that it's the right path, because it's like when you fall in love. You know that is love. My path is going through the painting, through journey, through practice. My last beautiful experience, it is free diving. when you're dealing with death. You live without breath. You consciously stop your main function of your breathing, and meanwhile you're still alive. And it is interesting when you go deep into the water and ocean take your thoughts, not only your thoughts, but thoughts of all the planet. So you take off the main function of your body and mind. You keep only your consciousness. It is unchangeable and not attached to limit of the body. And then, after 15 meters, you meet zero gravity. This feeling reminds you the most natural state of yourself. It reminds you who you are.
Does this state exist in your paintings?
Everything that happens to me come to my art. All experience reflect on things that I'm doing. One of my favorite practice, it is Sufi whirlings. You just whirling around like in a childhood. When we were children, we all did this, without fear to fall down. And if we start it now, we will not fall down also. When you are whirling around, you realize that the world whirling around of you. And you are not moving. And this feeling goes deep while you are whirling. Observing how the world is whirling around, you come to the point that you never move from your center. The most stable practice for me is looking for sunrise and sunset. So I meet the sun and I see the sunset. And I try to live in a place where I can see both of them. Usually in my studio I have at least 180-degree of view. So I can see the sun from my bed. For me, the way of art is going to the God, not from the God, not analyzing your own fears, your individual story. When it goes to the substance of the universe and answering the questions what we are and what is around us.
Do you know the answer?
Yes, I know.
and